All right, House of Payne fans, go ahead and hit the like button. Let's try to get to 50 likes on the video. Hit subscribe, click the bell icon, and select all. That way you're notified whenever I post new content. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Now, this particular video is, well, not so much an episode review. I'm going to be honest here. I still haven't watched episode 5, even though I said I was. To be honest, guys, I just jumped in my car Friday morning and I've been home. I just needed some time away, and pretty much most of the videos I posted while I've been home, they're already pre-recorded because I figured why not just record a bunch of content. I didn't know how long I was going to be home and I didn't want to work a lot, so thankfully I went ahead and worked ahead of the game. So expect my episode reviews on like 5 and 6 in depth sometime this week. I don't know the exact day, so you'll get them. You'll get them soon enough. But I wanted to do a video specifically about Miranda, and thank you all for joining in the live stream I did last week. Those are pretty fun. Episode reviews are great, but I love the live streams sometimes a little bit more, just because it's kind of real time where we talk about the episodes, kind of like the haves and the have-nots, where I do the reviews, or excuse me, the live streams directly after the episode, because it really just shows you, okay, we all watched it together, now let's talk about it. But if you can keep your fingers crossed, I'm waiting on my YouTube money to hit my account. It hasn't happened yet because I'm like, Lord, please let it happen so I can go back to my apartment tomorrow. That way I can make it back in time for the haves and the have-nots. But in any case, this particular video is about disowning, or I guess you could say cutting all ties with Miranda, which I think this was a discussion we've been talking about even before episode 5 and 6. We talked about, some people who didn't want Miranda back. Some people wanted her and Calvin to get back together. And then some people like, no, we don't need her because all she does is bring drama and blah, blah, blah. I got to say this much. When it comes down to it, I figured, well, doesn't, Calvin and Miranda have a child together? Christian, I believe is the name, Christian Payne. And I'm like, I understand Calvin being upset, and then family members, like, if you have a favorite cousin and they got, betrayed by their ex, the way she did, she just walked out on him. I can understand not wanting to be associated with her, but at the same time, she is still a link to, Curtis and Ella's grandchild. Well, one of their grandchildren, because of the fact that he has another kid with I forget her name. Yeah, I forgot her name, but I know she has a child, Calvin Jr. But Christian, it's like Miranda is a situation where I understand it, like the anger, not wanting to be associated, but there's still going to be a connection. Like I can understand, like Ella said, I haven't talked to Miranda, but at the same time, it's like I'm pretty sure they may have been associated with each other, if only for the sake of, hey, you know what? We have this, you have this grandchild, and I'm pretty sure we see her once in a while. But I guess Ella was probably referring to, I haven't talked to her in regards to this divorce. So I feel like that's probably where that was going. But as far as I can tell, Janine has been the only person to talk with Miranda. And during the live stream, some people brought up a very good point. Like, Janine knows what it's like. I mean, Janine is probably the only person who knows what Miranda's going through in regards to walking away from the family. And with Janine, it was due to her drug addiction, and Miranda, it seemed to be more so her own lack of interest in Calvin anymore. I mean, that's what she said, like, I'm not in love with you anymore, and then she just walked out of the door. So I just feel like in a situation like this, I understand Calvin's feelings completely, but in regards to family members, again, if you are really down for your cousin, I can understand not being involved with Miranda. But I think a lot of people in the live stream did bring up a good point about the fact that, what, I do see where you're coming from. It's like, if nothing else, you wouldn't be associated with Miranda if it did not involve the child, Christian. I completely understand that. But do you think it's fair for Calvin to ask his entire family to not speak with her anymore? I mean, it seemed like CJ was fine with it. I mean, Malik, I'm not going to say he dislikes Miranda, but he was pretty cordial with it. It's like, hey, Ma, it's for you. So it's almost like, Malik doesn't really have any ill will, but he has no interest in talking with Miranda like that. So I think that, yeah, Janine is probably the only person of the Payne family who has been somewhat actively communicating because of the fact that Miranda came, directly to CJ and Janine's house, on her way to court, which kind of says a lot. I really do feel like Miranda and Janine have been speaking with each other, and I think it was kind of messed up that Janine kind of tricked Ella into talking with Miranda, but at the same time, I don't think it came from a malicious place. It's because she honestly tried her best to kind of, I don't even want to say talk Miranda down, but hear Miranda out, give her perspective, but Miranda was the one who was being unruly and unreasonable about it. So I'm not going to fault Janine for that. I just hope the conversation between Ella and Miranda actually goes well this week. No disrespect on her end, in terms of Miranda. I don't think Ella is going to put up with that crap. I'm not saying Janine just rolls over when somebody insults her, but I feel like Ella, she ain't going to take no disrespect because, number one, she don't want to talk to Miranda anyway. But at the same time, she's going to try to hear her out and possibly give advice. But if Miranda ain't willing to hear it, then girl, get the heck out of my backyard. We ain't got nothing to discuss. I want to go in there and talk to my son. So we'll just have to wait and see how things turn out. But also, you know what, I'll save it for a separate video. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think the family should just, what's that phrase? Is it excommunicate? Isn't that what they did with Martin Luther in the old church? Not Martin Luther King, but the guy who nailed a set of rules on a church door. Dang, this is old stuff. Why am I thinking about this? But in any case, guys, how would you handle the Miranda situation if you were part of Calvin's family? Not necessarily Calvin himself, but let's say if you were one of his parents or cousins or whatever, would you just not communicate or have anything to do with Miranda at all? Or at the very least, would you only, I guess you could say, associate with Miranda so long as it has something to do with Christian? And that's about it. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.